Ever wish you could, like, rebuild your favorite city landmark? Like brick by brick? Or maybe explore a historical site without leaving your couch?
Hmm.
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into Arnis.
Yeah.
This open source project is totally blurring the lines between reality and the world of Minecraft.
Yeah, it's not just about recreating places, though.
Right.
It's about taking that familiar Minecraft experience and using it to explore real-world geography,
Yeah.
delve into history,
Yeah.
even learn about urban planning.
Okay, and for this deep dive, we've got
A lot of stuff to look at.
yeah, a whole stack of articles,
Yeah.
project updates, even some forum discussions about Arnis.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack how it works, the
That.
impact on education,
Mhm.
and what makes it so exciting for,
Both?
yeah, both gamers and, well, anyone who loves to learn, really.
Yeah, and what I find
Mhm.
particularly interesting is how Arnis taps into the power of open source
Oh, yeah.
collaboration. We'll definitely want to dig into that aspect as well.
Okay, so let's start with the basics.
Sure.
What exactly is Arnis?
Yep.
And how does it transform real-world locations into Minecraft maps?
So at its core, Arnis is a translator.
Okay.
It takes geographical data from OpenStreetMap, which is this amazing global map built by a community of volunteers.
Wow.
And it converts it into a format that Minecraft understands.
So instead of just building from your imagination,
Sure.
you're starting with real-world data.
Exactly.
You are.
That must make the maps incredibly accurate.
Yeah, you're not just getting the general layout of a city.
Right.
You're getting individual buildings, streets,
Wow.
even topographical features.
Wow.
It's like having a 3D model of the world, but made out of Minecraft blocks.
That's awesome. And the articles mentioned something about an API.
Yeah.
How does that fit into the whole process?
Right, so Arnis uses something called the Overpass API to communicate with OpenStreetMap.
It's basically a way to request specific pieces of data.
Okay.
Kind of like searching for an address. So Arnis asks for information about buildings,
Right.
roads, all the elements it needs to recreate a location.
Right.
And the Overpass API delivers that data in a structured format.
Okay, so it's like sending a very detailed order to a giant map store, and they send back exactly what you need to build your world.
That's a great analogy.
Okay, cool.
And once Arnis has all that data,
Yeah.
it gets to work transforming it into Minecraft blocks.
Right.
This is where the magic happens,
Yeah.
converting real-world coordinates and dimensions into a virtual world that you can actually explore.
So you end up with a Minecraft world file that's ready to go.
Exactly.
You just load it into the Java edition of the game, and boom, you're standing in a virtual version of a real place.
Pretty much.
That's pretty incredible.
It is. And one of the things that makes Arnis stand out is its user-friendliness. So there's a graphical interface that makes it really easy to select locations and tweak the settings. And there's a command line option for the more advanced users.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
A project like this could easily get intimidating, so
Yeah.
having different ways to interact with it is great.
Yeah.
Speaking of settings,
Yeah,
the articles mentioned some pretty interesting ones.
they did.
What caught your eye?
Well, there's one called Flood Fill Timeout
Okay.
that I found fascinating.
Okay.
Basically, Arnis has to make decisions about how to represent large areas of water.
Okay.
And this setting lets you control how much time it spends trying to get it just right.
Yeah.
So if you want really detailed coastlines and lakes,
Yeah.
you can increase the timeout,
Okay.
but it might take longer for the world to generate.
So there's a trade-off between speed and detail.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It gives users more control over the final product.
Exactly.
And since we're talking about choices, how about the name Arnis? Is there a story behind it?
Actually, there is.
Okay.
The project is named after Arnis, Germany, which happens to be the smallest city in the country.
Wow.
And it was one of the early test cases for the tool.
Okay.
So it holds a special place in the project's history.
That's a fun little fact.
Yeah.
It's like they're paying homage to the place where it all began.
Right.
Okay, so we've covered the basics of what Arnis is and how it works.
We have.
Let's shift gears and talk about why this is making such a big impact, especially in the world of education.
Yeah, what's really exciting is that Arnis isn't just a fun way to play Minecraft.
Right.
It's a powerful tool for learning.
Right. I mean, imagine being able to walk through a 3D model of ancient Rome or explore the streets of a modern metropolis.
Yeah.
It's like taking a virtual field trip.
Exactly. And the articles we have highlight some amazing examples of how educators are using Arnis.
Oh, wow.
For instance, the Museum of London
Right.
used Arnis and Minecraft to recreate the Great Fire of 1666, which allowed visitors to experience this historical event in a whole new way.
Wow. That's way more engaging than just reading about it in a textbook.
Exactly.
What kind of insights did they gain from that project? I'm curious to hear about the impact it had.
So one of the key takeaways was that this type of immersive experience helps people connect with history on a deeper level. They're not just passively absorbing information,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
actively exploring,
Right.
making observations,
Yeah.
and even drawing their own conclusions.
So it encourages critical thinking and problem-solving skills.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
And there's another aspect to this that I find particularly interesting.
I'm all ears. What is it?
Think about the traditional way we teach geography.
Uh-huh.
Students look at maps,
Right.
memorize capitals,
Yeah.
and maybe watch a few documentaries.
Right.
But with Arnis, they can actually experience different landscapes and climates firsthand.
Oh, wow.
They can walk through a rainforest, climb a mountain, or even explore the depths of the ocean,
Wow.
all within the familiar environment of Minecraft.
That's a game changer for education.
It is.
It takes abstract concepts and makes them tangible.
Precisely. And it taps into a different way of learning,
Right.
one that's more engaging and interactive.
Right.
Instead of just reading about the world,
Yeah.
they're experiencing it.
And it's not just about individual exploration, right?
Right.
The articles mentioned something about collaborative projects.
Yeah.
How does Arnis facilitate that?
That's one of the things that makes it so powerful.
Okay.
Imagine a classroom where students are working together to rebuild a historical city or design a sustainable community. They have to communicate,
Yeah.
problem solve, and think creatively,
Yeah.
all while learning about history, geography, and urban planning.
It sounds like it brings a whole new dimension to teamwork and communication skills.
Exactly. And this collaborative aspect isn't limited to classrooms.
Oh, right.
We're seeing online communities spring up around Arnis,
Oh.
with people sharing their creations, working on projects together,
Yeah.
and even organizing events within these Arnis-generated worlds.
So it's creating this amazing space for people to connect and learn from each other.
It is.
And I imagine there's a huge potential for creativity here, too.
Absolutely. We're just starting to see the creative possibilities unfold.
It's amazing to think that something that started as a way to recreate real-world locations in Minecraft has evolved into this incredible platform for learning and collaboration.
Yeah, and it's not just for seasoned Minecraft veterans either.
Right.
One of the things that impressed me while going through all this stuff
Yeah.
is how Arnis caters to both beginners
Right.
and experienced users.
You're right. It seems like they put a lot of thought into making it accessible to
Yeah.
a wide range of people.
Exactly. If you're comfortable with command line interfaces, you can really dig into the technical side of things
Yeah.
and customize the generation process.
Right.
But if you're just getting started, the graphical interface makes it super easy to choose a location,
Okay.
adjust a few settings,
Yeah.
and generate your world. It's very intuitive.
Okay, so let's say I'm totally new to this.
Sure.
I fire up Arnis.
Yeah.
And I want to recreate my hometown.
Okay.
What kind of control do I have over how the world looks? I mean, can I tweak things like the terrain or the overall scale of the map?
Absolutely. Arnis offers a surprising level of control over the world generation process.
Okay.
You can adjust things like the scale factor, which lets you shrink or enlarge the map.
Okay.
There's a winter mode if you want a snow-covered landscape.
Cool.
And you can even tweak the terrain generation to get different types of landscapes.
So it's not just about replicating reality exactly. It's also about giving users the tools to create their own variations.
Yeah.
What are some of the more advanced settings that might appeal to experienced Minecrafters?
Aside from the flood fill timeout we talked about earlier, there are settings that control things like tree density,
Okay.
building height, and even the types of blocks used for different structures.
Wow.
You can really fine-tune the look and feel of your world.
That level of customization is impressive.
Yeah.
It sounds like Arnis gives you the best of both worlds. The accuracy of real-world data and the flexibility to shape it according to your own vision.
Exactly. And that brings us to another important point.
Okay.
The reliance on OpenStreetMap data.
Right.
What happens if someone wants to recreate a place that doesn't have very detailed information on OpenStreetMap?
That's a great question. I imagine the accuracy of the generated world would depend heavily on the quality of the data available.
You're absolutely right. If the data for a particular area is sparse or outdated,
Yeah.
the generated world might not be as detailed or accurate.
So what can you do if you run into that situation? Are you just stuck with a less than perfect world?
Not necessarily, and this is where the beauty of OpenStreetMap shines through. It's a collaborative project,
Right.
which means anyone can contribute to it.
Oh, wow.
If you find that the data for your area is lacking,
Yeah.
you can actually go in and add or update information yourself.
Wow. So you're not just a passive user of Arnis, you can actually help improve the source data that it relies on.
Mm-hmm.
That's the power of open source in action.
Precisely. And by contributing to OpenStreetMap,
Yeah.
you're not just improving your own Arnis creations,
Right.
you're making the platform better for everyone.
Okay, so let's say I've generated my world
Okay.
and I'm eager to jump into Minecraft and start exploring.
Yeah.
Anything I should keep in mind before diving in?
Um, there's one little tip
Okay.
that the developers always emphasize.
Okay.
Teleport to the coordinates 000 as soon as you load the world.
Okay.
That's where Arnis starts generating.
Okay.
So it's the best place to begin your exploration.
Ah, good to know.
Yeah.
So that's the starting point for my adventure. Now, I know we've talked about the educational and creative aspects of Arnis,
We have.
but I'm also curious about the pure entertainment value.
Oh, absolutely. Arnis opens up a whole world of possibilities for gaming.
Okay.
Imagine building an epic adventure quest within a replica of your favorite city,
Right.
or designing parkour challenges across real-world landscapes.
I can see how that would appeal to a wide range of gamers.
Yeah.
And what about multiplayer experiences? Can players collaborate within these Arnis-generated worlds?
Absolutely. You can invite friends to explore your creations,
Okay.
build together, even hold competitions. It
Cool.
really enhances the social aspect of Minecraft.
It sounds like Arnis takes the whole concept of virtual world to a whole new level by grounding it in reality.
Yeah.
And I love that it encourages community engagement.
And there's a real sense of shared ownership and contribution
Mm-hmm.
within the Arnis community.
Right?
Remember how the logo was designed by a community member?
Right. It's a great example of how everyone can play a part in shaping the project.
Yeah.
I'm curious, did you find any other interesting tidbits about the project's history in the GitHub repository?
Actually, I did.
Okay.
Remember we talked about how Arnis was initially written in Python,
Yes.
but later ported to Rust for better performance?
Yes, that was fascinating to learn about.
Well, the developers have kept the original Python code available
Oh, wow.
on a separate branch called Python Legacy.
So if someone wanted to see how the project evolved,
Yeah.
or maybe even experiment with the earlier version,
Right.
they could access that code.
Exactly. It's like a little time capsule
Yeah.
that shows the progression of the project,
Right.
and it speaks to the developers' commitment to transparency and open source principles.
I think that's one of the things that makes Arnis so special.
Yeah.
It's not just a tool, it's a community of passionate people working together to create something truly remarkable.
I completely agree. And that collaborative spirit is what fuels the project's ongoing development.
Right.
And expansion.
Right.
There's a real sense that Arnis is constantly evolving.
Which brings us to the big question.
Yeah.
What's next for Arnis?
Yeah?
What does the future hold for this project?
Right.
The sources mention some pretty exciting possibilities.
Yeah, well, one of the things that has the developers buzzing
Yeah.
is the potential to move beyond just recreating existing locations.
Okay.
They're talking about using Arnis to visualize future city plans,
Wow.
historical reconstructions,
Okay.
even fantastical landscapes that exist only in our imaginations.
Wow, that takes things to a whole new level.
It does.
Imagine architects using Arnis to present their designs in an interactive way.
Yeah,
Or historians giving virtual tours of ancient cities.
exactly, and it doesn't stop there.
Okay.
They're also exploring ways to use Arnis for things like disaster preparedness simulations,
Wow.
or even therapeutic applications.
That's incredible. So it's not just about recreating the past or exploring the present.
Right.
It's about using technology to imagine and shape the future.
Precisely. And because Arnis is open source,
Yeah.
the possibilities are truly limitless.
Right.
Anyone with an idea and the skills can contribute to its development and push the boundaries of what's possible.
It's a reminder that even something that started as a simple way to have fun in Minecraft can evolve into a tool with far-reaching implications.
And it highlights the power of collaboration and community.
Right.
Arnis wouldn't be what it is today
Right.
without the contributions of countless individuals who share a passion for this project.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the technical intricacies of Arnis to its impact on education,
Yeah.
gaming, and even the potential to shape the future.
Hmm.
I'm blown away by the scope of this project.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
But before we wrap up, there's one question I have to ask. For our listeners who are ready to dive into the world of Arnis, where's the best place to start?
The heart of the project is on GitHub.
Okay.
That's where you'll find the source code,
Right.
documentation,
Okay.
and ways to contribute.
We'll definitely include a link to that in the show notes.
Great.
So if you're feeling inspired, you can head over there and check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
And keep in mind, this deep dive has only scratched the surface.
It has.
The Arnis community is incredibly active.
Yes.
So there are always new developments and exciting projects popping up.
All the time.
Yeah, it's like a living, breathing project that's constantly growing and evolving.
It really is.
And what I love about it is that anyone can be a part of that journey.
Yeah.
Whether you're a programmer who wants to contribute code,
Right.
an educator who wants to use it in the classroom,
Yeah.
or just a curious individual who wants to explore the possibilities.
Exactly. And the developers are very open to feedback and suggestions.
Right.
So if you have an idea for a new feature
Yeah.
or a way to improve Arnis,
Okay.
don't hesitate to reach out.
It's that collaborative spirit that makes the open source world so special.
I agree.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, the idea of using Arnis to visualize potential solutions to real-world problems.
Yeah, that's a concept that I find particularly intriguing. We've talked about recreating the past
Right.
and exploring the present.
Yeah.
But what about using Arnis to model the impact of climate change on coastal cities
Right.
or to design sustainable urban environments?
That's such a powerful idea.
Yeah.
It's like taking the power of Arnis beyond just recreation and into the realm of problem solving and innovation.
Precisely. Imagine a world where city planners can use Arnis to test out different infrastructure designs,
Wow.
or where students can collaborate on creating virtual models of eco-friendly communities.
It's almost like turning Minecraft into a tool for social change.
And that brings us back to the core of what makes Arnis so remarkable.
Right.
It's a testament to the power of imagination and the potential of technology when it's used for good.
Well said. It's been an eye-opening journey exploring the world of Arnis.
It has.
And I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today.
I agree. It's an inspiring example of how a seemingly simple idea can spark innovation, foster collaboration,
Yeah.
and even have the potential to make a positive impact on the world.
To all our listeners out there,
Yes,
if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, be sure to check out Arnis.
definitely.
You might just find yourself building a better world one block at a time.